Hello, hello, welcome to the show. This is Hack Hunter, where we review some of the best and worst tattoo artists in the country. Now, this is part number 2 of our Durham, North Carolina episode, and if you haven't seen part number 1, please go check it out. We found a very brilliantly unique, talented artist out there that we just had to showcase for our viewers. But I promise you, while we were out there, we came across at least a dozen studios that were just a nightmare. Very sketchy stuff, very quick, get them in, get them out kind of mentality, and we couldn't leave without at least showcasing one of them. So, without further ado, enter Osama Burbank. You can find him at Empire Inc. in Durham, North Carolina. He's absolutely the owner there, and like I said, a lot of studios in the surrounding area have very similar work, so be careful while you're out there looking for an artist. Take your time. If you want to check them out, Empire Inc. on Facebook. His Instagram is Osama Burbank. They're on Instagram, so take your time, do your own research, you guys, but let me show you what we found. Bam! Now, right off the bat, this one is brutal. Look at all this blood and welting. I mean, I get it. This was a cool idea for a tattoo. You want to do this chest piece with this sort of old Western flair to it. And you got the cowboy here drinking, but he's all bloody, beat up. You can see how many line errors there are. Just lines missing in places. They're thicker in some places, thinner in others. Just a nightmare. Nightmare. So many red flags going off all at the same time, especially in the middle here. You see this light gray etching that's all red and bloody. This is indicative of an artist that's overworking the skin as they're trying to get light gray in there. Artists have a really hard time sometimes with light gray fades, and the reason is it takes a little bit longer. It's not as easy as doing it like on paper with a pencil. It takes a little bit longer and a little bit more skill and patience, and when I see it like this, it just means you're just beating the hell out of the skin trying to get it in there. Also, though, man, look at this silhouette of this horse and rider. Like, where's the horse's head? What happened to it? Also, this horse has 5 legs. They're all weird and shaky looking. This is just as gnarly as it gets. That leg, it looks like it's wearing a boot, but it might be from this cowboy's horse. I don't know. But is this just like a ghost in the background? I don't know. I think he started to do a cowboy, but then said, nah, 2's good enough. Why not just leave it? I just saw a lot of laziness throughout, guys. And one of the red flags I've talked about in the past is this. When you see blood and bleeding in tattoos and welting, this is a real telltale sign to me that an artist is really just kind of lazy at their craft. Because photos for us are the way that we show our work to the world and the future clients. You want it to be as quality as possible. But when an artist really just takes a lazy photo at the end of a tattoo, doesn't care if it's bleeding, doesn't care if the lighting is good, it shows me that it's just a really lazy artist that you're dealing with. And especially here in Freddy's face. I mean, I know Freddy's supposed to look jacked up, but usually this would be a great example, or a great time that artists would love to put small detail in there, get the scarring and the burn effect really cool, but he just put some blotches in there, made him look like he had a skin disease, and then called it good and moved on. Just really, really disappointing kind of work. This here, another major red flag, the backdrop. I think these are supposed to be clouds here, and they're done in this medium gray, but so are the wolf's ears. Just right there is the same tone. So when this thing heals, you're not going to be able to differentiate the ears from the clouds. That's a day one mistake. That's any artist that's practiced and trained and really worked on their craft is going to know that. You have to differentiate background from foreground. And this kind of lazy white work that he did in here is definitely not going to have the effect he wants, especially on somebody with darker skin tone. That white is not going to stand the test of time. It's going to be kind of blurry or muddy at best. And this wolf does not have any whiskers. Not surprising to me at all. There's 3 things that I saw a lot in his portfolio. One was lions, tigers, and animals, similar animals. And then you got butterflies and flowers. They were throughout his whole portfolio, just mixing and matching them. The lions were always seemingly done with the same line weight that he does the surrounding flowers. See how thick this line weight is? It's the same line weight that he used on the whiskers here. And that, again, is just a laziness. Take an extra liner out, a thinner line weight, make those whiskers look thinner and wispier, but no, that would cost extra money to take extra time. And very strange the way he did the white around the eyes here, and I saw it in every single one of his lions. There's another white around the eyes there, thick chunky whiskers. You got the flowers. Here's another one, flower. Got the tiger with the thick whiskers, the white around the eye. This one's just bloody mess. Here's another one, white around the eye. This one's very faint, but you can see he still tried to do the same thing. Thick whiskers, thick outline here. Again, the same line weight throughout every single time. This is just a laziness. He's trying to save money, I believe. Or either that, or maybe he's just not good at thinner line weights and he knows it, so he just doesn't put in the extra effort. But here it is again. You got the white around the eyes, got butterflies, and you got thick chunky flowers. Here's another one. Here's a tiger. This one doesn't have whiskers, no white around the eyes, but you got your butterflies, these monarchs. He loves these blue monarchs. They were everywhere in his portfolio. Here's another tiger with the same blue monarch. I swear to God, he is just using that same stencil on every single monarch. He is burning that stencil out. This one doesn't have any whiskers either, and when it comes to these small little fine chin hairs, it's just really, I hate to see it look so clumpy like this. No real effort put in to make that look realistic at all. Look at how giant this one is. This is her whole entire arm. You telling me you couldn't have done a little bit of thin detail in there? Very, very lazy. And again, you see how beat up the redness? That's because he's trying to do that light gray, but he's not really that great at it. So the skin just gets welted up like that. Here's more of that same monarch stencil. Here's another one where it's just beat up red skin here and the same monarch stencil we saw. I zoom in here, you can see he didn't even get the color up to the lines here. He put white in a few, but not all the parts of the butterfly's wings. It's just, I see this kind of laziness all the time in these hack portfolios, and it's just very disappointing. My hope is that we can teach you guys how to spot it, and so you can avoid it. Why do you color outside the lines here? And then the stars in the background sky were an afterthought. He did the whole piece, and at the very end, he tried to put white stars in. But you can't put white over top of your gray wash or your black. It's just not going to heal well. It's not going to show up the next day at all. Anyway, I'll digress. I'll move on to this one. We found this skull. Nothing, nothing great about it, but nothing really wrong with it. All the teeth are kind of the same shape and size, which is obviously not accurate. But then I came across this one. Wait a minute. That's the same damn piece. He just put some more blue monarchs in it. God damn it. Same skull, though, with the weird same shaped teeth in there. Really disappointing to see artists reuse the same stencils or ideas over and over again. And we caught you on this one, Osama. Here's a cover-up. The last one I'll show you of his is the cover-ups, man. Somebody wanted to cover up this kind of blotchy, I think it was a sunflower. They wanted to cover it up with a better sunflower. But unfortunately, he used these light tones. You can't use orange and yellow to cover up black. It's just not going to work. You're always going to see it through. I think the only reason here it looks kind of done is because the color is darkened by this person's blood. So it makes it look like it's a better cover up than it really is. Also, why is this sticking out? Why didn't you just make the petal a little bit bigger so this one's not sticking out? Again, really just very lazy on the small details. And here's what's going to happen if you try to cover up something like this with something bright and colorful. These yellows are not going to cover up that black. I mean, maybe some really, really talented, skilled artists could do it, but that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with an artist that overworks the skin, uses way too thick align weights, and most of their work is lacking any small detail. Here's an entire back piece, the last one I'll show you, but look, no small detail, no dents in the shield or nothing. We're just getting this etchy, scratchy gray wash throughout the whole thing, and these lines where you can tell he's trying to go back and fix them because some are thick, some are thin, some don't connect where they're supposed to. Just disappointing all around. So guys, be warned, be wary. If you're out there in Durham, North Carolina, there are some phenomenal artists, I guarantee it, but there's a lot of them you gotta watch out for. Osama Burbank from Empire Inc. goes on our hack list, absolutely. We'll see you in the next city, guys. Bye!